we're wrapping this up, but you can definitely start over from the beginning once this live series is done. Cam413 saying thanks, Todd, and I hope you guys enjoyed this live reloading adventure, start to finish. In the last what are we up to? We're up to part 6, obviously. So last 5 parts of the series. If you are new, you just got that 6.5 Creedmoor. Hopefully we can learn together, and hopefully you pass this knowledge on to the next generation. That's how we are going to protect our rights and move this forward into the future. To the point, informative, entertaining, and protecting the Second Amendment. Welcome back to Elfster's Rifles and Reloading and part 7 of the Psa 6.5 Creedmoor, the 20-inch barrel firearm review series. And if this is the first part you're watching of this firearm review series, you might want to go back and start over from part 1. And yeah, I'll admit, this firearm review series is rather extensive. Just part 1 in itself is over an hour. But we really dive deep into this firearm, not only with the overview of this firearm, but we did a lot of bore scoping, we shot some factory ammunition, and then we took that brass and dived into part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with live reloading events. For especially you guys that are new to reloading, I hope you guys are learning something and passing that information on to the next generation. And we loaded up 12 total rounds of H4350 at different powder drop rates with a 140 grain Eld M bullet. And we also loaded up 12 total rounds with the same H4350, different powder drop rates, but with a 142 grain Smk. And I did that live for you guys, and I love proving points. I want to shoot this on one single piece of paper for you guys with this live reloading event ammunition. And to make this even more extra special, if you guys have been following this series, is right after that, during the live event, off camera, I loaded up the same exact load development, exactly the same quantity of ammunition, and I plan on repeating that on another completely separate piece of paper, another whole nother target, and we'll see how repeatable those different powder drop rates or load development is. And I think this will be really interesting. So enough of the BS talk. Let's get on with round 1 here. And we'll start out with the live reloading event ammunition. And then right after that, we're going to shoot the exact same load development once again and see how the two compare. Let's get this going. All right, so we are going to start out with a 140 grain Eld match with 40.5 grains of H4350. So let's get this show on the road. All right, so you know, it's not an amazing group. I would say it's probably about a 5/8 3-shot group. This is a freshly scrubbed barrel too, so that's something to keep in mind. But not a bad start. So let's move on to that 40.8. All right, so it looks like that group's opening up a little bit. It's probably about a 1.25 inch group there. Move on to the 41.1. All right, that is a pretty darn good group there. I would say that's all of a half-minute 3-shot group there at 41.1, so that's looking pretty darn promising. So let's keep on moving, and we're almost to the max here at 41.4. So let's give this barrel a chance to cool down, and we're going to move on to the 142 SMKs. Whew, she is warm out. All right, so on to the 142 SMKs at 40.9. So If you guys watched the last part, you'll know I wrote on the side of these, and these all say 40.9, so I know for sure what grain weight we're throwing in here for H4350. All right, so 142 SMKs with 41.2. So moving on to the 41.5. All right, that's definitely opening up. All right, moving on to 41.8. All right, that's it. Chamber's clear, we're on safe. Let's head down and see how we did. All right, let me get this paused here. You know, I guess I'm not overly impressed with those SMKs. I mean, holy smokes, I'm not sure what's going on here. That could be me, but who knows? You know, this is probably about 3/4, about 1.5 inches, about 1.25 inches. And this is damn near 1.75 inches, so definitely not impressed with that. You know, I think obviously with the SMKs, it's favoring the low end of the H43 spectrum here at 40.9. You know, definitely some promising results here with the Eld M's. You know, right out of the gate, roughly 3/4 inch. This is a little over 1 inch, probably about 1.25 inches. And then we got this smoking group here at 41.1. And holy smokes, that's all of a 1/2 inch group there. And then it opens back up at roughly about 1 inch, 1.25 inches. So, man, I mean, obviously, I'd say the Eld M's are outperforming the SMKs. And this shows some real promise. All right, so we are going to start out with the 140 Eld M match grade bullets, H4350 and 40.5 grains. So let's let this settle down here on the barrel, let it cool down a little bit, and we'll move on to 142 SMKs. Wow, did that ever open up? All right, let's go down and see how we did. So yeah, for round 2 here, I would say it's damn near the same results. Once again, this 41.1 is shining through once again. I mean, we're talking, I would say it's roughly about a 1/2 minute of angle, about 5/8. We'll score this up here in a little bit. But you know, 40.5's roughly about 1 inch. 40.8 is probably a little under 1 inch, 7/8. Like I said, this one's about 1/2 inch, 5/8. Then opening back up once again to roughly about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. You know, once again with the 142 SMKs, not showing really any promise once again. You know, 40.9 is roughly about 3/4. 41.5's about 3/4, 7/8. Then it's opening back up, 41.2 and 41.8, a damn near 2 inches. So once again, the 140 Eld M's with 41.1 is shining through. It's kind of repeatable results. So I think this is the future of this firearm. So we are back in the reloading room, and I got the original 24 from the live reloading event. The other 24 here loaded up at the exact same specs as the live reloading event. And I loaded up 2 extra ones here that you guys didn't see that I used for the cold bore shot and sighting in that new mounted scope. And this brass looks really good for reloading. There's a little bit of a nick in the side here, the case body, and I really need to get that Velcro done on that brass deflector so I don't get that dent in the side of the case body. But overall, the brass looks really, really good for reloading. The case mouth openings are as round as can be. Grab another one here. And I figured, being that we went over fire forming of this brass and how this brass expands to that firearm's particular chamber when you fire it, I figured we could go over this quick. So as you guys seen, I believe during the sizing process of the live reloading events, this brass from the factory ammunition that we got this brass from fire formed at between 1.552 and 1.553, and then we bumped that back, roughly about 3/1000 of an inch. So I'm going to show you, if you guys watch this live reloading event, we bumped that brass back to roughly 1.5495, somewhere around there. And let me grab one of these pieces of brass, and I'm just going to quick knock out this primer here, just to make sure we're not dealing with any crater primers. And I'll show you that this brass went and reformed back, most likely, to this fire formed headspace of 1.552 to 1.553. And just like I said before, I love proving points. So just a miscellaneous piece of brass here, and right there, it's right between those two numbers, 1.5525, right between 552 and 553. And now I got this primer punched out. I'm going to punch out the rest of these primers. We can start that whole reloading process over again. Well, I think we are really on to something here. Not only are these results very comparable, other than maybe this 41.5 of the SMKs, this had a pretty smoking group at 0.873 minutes of angle compared to the other target of 1.909. I would say the rest of these targets are pretty comparable in regards to the performance. Obviously we got these smoking groups here of 41.1 H4350 with the ELD 140 grain bullets. This one is at 0.358 minutes of angle, and we got another smoking group. And I don't think that is, coincidence here on the second target of 41.4 of H4350, same bullet at roughly a half minute of angle, 0.535, and like I said, this other one's 0.358. Two of the best groups on both of these targets, exact same low development. All this brass was sized at the same time, the exact same headspace, and you guys watch that. And it's interesting results when you're doing low development and you're getting consistent feedback from those results. And obviously, I think the route to go here is we're going to be sticking with the 140 grain ELD M's with 41.1 grains of H4350. And I could probably tweak that out a little bit, maybe go up and down, maybe just a smidge, maybe 0.1, 0.2 grains of powder. But I think this is pretty much where I'm going to settle in at. And I've said this before in the past, and I'll say it again. I try not to spend or use up the entire barrel life doing low development. Once I see some promise coming out of that barrel after the rifling has been broken a little bit, I like to try and knock out that low development within roughly 25 to maybe 75 rounds. If I'm doing any more rounds for low development to see what that barrel likes to shoot, by the time, and I've seen other guys do this before too, they'll use up damn near that barrel's entire life, if not half the barrel's life, doing low development. And in my opinion, you're not enjoying the firearm. But once again, everyone's got a different method of madness, and I know some guys really enjoy doing low development, but it's just not me. I just like to get that out of the way and move on. But in regards to this initial low development, obviously this 41.1 of H4350, the Eld M 140 grain bullets. Looks to be the ticket. You know, all those rounds of the factory ammunition, 50 rounds there of the factory ammunition, we loaded up all 50 pieces of brass in these reloads and another 50 rounds, 100 rounds shot total, and not a single failure to feed or eject. And my overall impression of this PSA 20-inch 6.5 Creedmoor firearm, it's amazing, especially for the price, you know, well under $1,000. And the bang for your buck that you're getting out of this setup with all these amazing features, especially this heavy barrel profile underneath the handguard, in my opinion, it's a great value. And this has been a no BS firearm review series, all 7 parts. You guys watched every single pull of that trigger as it happened out at the range. And I hope for some of you guys that are getting into reloading, you're learning something and you're passing that knowledge on to the next generation. Because I tell you, my friends, that's how we are truly going to protect our rights. Well, once again, I think we got about 1 or 2 more parts of this series left. I think the next part here is obviously loading up more of just these ELDMs with just 41.1 grains of H4350. Let's see if we can repeat more of these smoking hot groups here. I don't think that's just coincidence between these two. The barrel harmonics are showing you and me what this firearm could do. And I'm really excited to get this going. Well, stay tuned to the next part, part 8, where I'm going to load these back up, like I said, with those specific specifications of 140 grain ELDMs, 41.1 grains of H4350, and we're going to do some more shooting here, and that will probably be the last part of this series. Well, I hope you guys learned something. I hope you're enjoying this series. And if you feel like you're learning something, scratch my back, and I'll continue to scratch your back with this amazing content by not only subscribe, like, and share. Hit that notification bell. And when you do hit that notification bell, make sure you hit notification all. And if you're not getting those notifications, you might want to unnotify and re-notify. Like I said, hit that notification all, because I know some of you guys are not getting those notifications. Well, become a Patreon. That helps out more than you know. And check out the description box below. I have a link for my apparel. And not only do you get something out of that apparel, but it helps to support my channel. Well, I think this has been an amazing adventure that you and I can both share. I'll see you guys in the next video.